welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello, everybody. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader Services Librarian at the Syosset Library for Turn the Page podcast. And today we are so lucky to have with us Martha Hall Kelly, and I'll be speaking to her about the Martha's Vineyard Beach and Book Club, which comes out on 5/27. This may even be out after that, so I just want everybody to know we will have print copies here, of course, and it will be available on Overdrive in both ebook and audiobook. So let me just tell you a little bit about Martha, and then we'll speak to her about the book. She's a New York Times bestselling author of Lilac Girls, Lost Roses, Sunflower Sisters, and The Golden Doves. She was born and raised in Massachusetts, received journalism degrees from both Syracuse and Northwestern universities, and worked as an advertising copywriter for many years before becoming a novelist. With more than 2 million copies of her book sold and translated in 50 countries, Martha lives in Litchfield, Connecticut, Florida, and New York City. So thank you so much, Martha, for joining us. I loved this book so much. The Martha's Vineyard Beach and Book Club. First of all, I know nobody could see this, but the cover is so great.
Oh, I'm so glad you like it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Oh my God. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 girls sitting on the beach reading books. I mean, it's just the best cover. Nothing better for a great summer read.
Yes. So glad you like it.
I did. I absolutely loved it. So why don't you tell everybody what the book is about?
Well, it is a dual timeline book, and it's current day-ish, 2016, and back in 1942. And it starts with this young woman, Mari Starwood, comes to Martha's Vineyard from Los Angeles. She's just lost her mother, and she's coming to Martha's Vineyard to confront a famous painter who she found her address and her mother's effects after she died, and she is confused why this person knows her mother. So she arrives and confronts this famous painter at this beautiful oceanside farm on Martha's Vineyard. Her name is Elizabeth Devereaux, and Mrs. Devereaux's, and she says, "Well, my mother never left California. How do you know her?" And Mrs. Devereaux says, "Well, you're wrong about that. Your mother did leave California, and you need to sit down when I tell you the story of the two Smith sisters who used to live here." So Mrs. Devereaux tells her in alternating chapters going back and forth what her connection is to this Smith family. And in the other chapters, the 1942 chapters, we meet Cadence and Briar, the two Smith sisters, who Cadence is a bookish, really wants to get off the island and go to New York City to become a publisher. She writes a column for the Vineyard Gazette, and she's beautiful. And her little sister, Briar, is 16 years old, and I guess you'd call her neurodivergent. She's, really, really smart, obsessed with Nazi memorabilia, and she combs the beach looking for it. And the two sisters really don't get along that well. But then one day, a mysterious man washes up on shore, and this book club that they've put together on Martha's Vineyard has to figure out how to deal with that mysterious man.
Just so much more, though.
It's hard to put it all in.
It is. It's, you know what? It's hard to tell anything about it without giving anything away.
I know,
because there's so much packed into this book, and so much happens, and so much of it is true, which blows my mind. So tell everybody,
too, yeah.
Yeah. So tell everybody what made you decide to write this story.
Well, I was actually Random House. We were all set with a different book, a more contemporary book.
Oh.
And I wrote that, and I love it. I still love it. But my daughter and I were in the backseat of a car coming back from a winery. So the story involves wine, which many good ones do. And we were talking, and she said, "Well, you really should write about Martha's Vineyard and your mother. I would read that book." And I just started thinking, why have I not done that before? My family, my mother's family, came to Martha's Vineyard in 1891, and they had a flower farm on the vineyard, and the house is still there. And so I just became obsessed with writing their story. And it's not exactly their story. It's definitely, I mean, they didn't have a mysterious man wash up on the beach, but a lot of it is true. And the more I dug into Martha's Vineyard during World War II, the more I realized what I didn't know. And there was a mock invasion out on Martha's Vineyard that the military kept very secret. And also, there were all sorts of U-boats, German U-boats circling the island. And, they were all up and down the eastern seaboard trying to sink American ships, but they came onto Martha's Vineyard. And I remember my mother telling me these stories. So I thought, why not put them in the book? And that seems to be what people are really enjoying, is the fact that so much of it is true.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's true. And I can't believe you waited. I mean, this is your fifth book. Why you didn't tell the story right away? Like,
I
the
know.
story is amazing. There's so much about it. It references Long Island, what happened at Yaphank, where they had that Nazi community. I mean, it's got so much great information in it that I just like loved it. I mean, I never heard before of the Armed Services editions.
Oh,
At first I thought that
no.
can't be true, but I looked it up and it's so true. You want to tell everybody what that's about?
Yes, they're really, really interesting. I never knew about them either. They're just the military, well, the Nazis were burning books. We were creating these little, almost like the size of a deck of cards, a little bit bigger. These full books. They were not abridged at all. They were, the entire book. And they printed over 1.5 million of these to give to our servicemen so that they could bring them, wherever they went. And they're wonderful stories, because even a paperback didn't fit in their backpacks. You've seen
Right.
pictures of the packs, they're so loaded. And there are so many great, and I found a book about them at a Martha's Vineyard flea market, an
Wow.
old book about the Armed Services editions. And it was filled with pictures of men in the trenches reading them. And, it got people, it got the soldiers through a lot of hard times. And there was a report of, they were reading a book about France, and it helped them navigate out of combat. And it helped save their lives because they were reading this novel. And so to me, that was incredible. And every soldier that was on the invasion barges at Normandy had a book in their backpack. And that to me is just so moving, especially because so many of the men were training on Martha's Vineyard for Normandy. And my mom used to talk about, she was young during the war. She was like 14, so she couldn't go to the USO dances, but she saw my grandmother, after her husband died and left her with 4 kids, she had to take in laundry and sell donuts at this, at their house. And the 25 cents a dozen, which I don't know how she made any money doing that, but my mom used to talk about the soldiers would stop at the house and buy these donuts, and how kind and handsome and wonderful they were, and how the island, even though the boys were from all over the place, they loved them so much. And when almost half of them died at Normandy because they were on Vineyard practicing, because the coastlines are very similar, the island was just devastated. And she used to talk about that all the time. And so I thought, why not write about Peaked Hill, the army base on Martha's Vineyard, and what was happening there, and kind of an ode to her.
Well, it's a great story. I absolutely loved it. I mean, those Smith girls are fabulous, and then their brother Tom was a great character.
Oh, Tom, I know. I
And then
love Tom.
his girlfriend Bess. I mean,
Yes, she's a Richie, as my mother used to call the summer people.
yeah, and I love the fact that they go to the dump and that's where they pick up their books and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, it's so great. It's just so great. I mean, I'm sure Martha's Vineyard, even to this day, has the Richies and the regular people, because you need people to work.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. People don't realize that about the vineyard, is that It's a lot of working people and farmers, fishermen. I think it's different from Nantucket in that way. There's more farms and it's bigger.
Hmm.
But yeah, I based Tom on my Uncle Sonny, who was shot down. He was a ball turret gunner. I don't know if you know what that is. I didn't know what it was. They sit in that ball, the like big plexiglass ball underneath the planes. And he was the only one. His plane was shot down over Italy, and he was the only one that survived.
Wow.
So I based him on Uncle Sonny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, and I based Cadence on my mother because
okay.
my mom always wanted to get off of Martha's Vineyard. And I thought that was kind of a nice thing to give a character, that want of wanting more.
Yeah.
The dump, oh my God. My mother loved the dump. And, it sounds crazy now, but she got all of her books there and she loved to read. I mean, she couldn't pick the titles, but books were really, really hard to come by especially on Martha's Vineyard, but during the war, because they didn't have all the supplies to make a book, not just paper, but all the chemicals and things. So when she and her sisters would find books at the dump, to them, that was the real treasure.
Wow.
And to this, until she died, she was so, since she had so few books and she loved them so much, she was always very picky about her books and, made sure they always came back to her.
Was there a library back in the day on Martha's Vineyard?
Absolutely. But everybody wanted books so badly that, and they didn't have enough books for everybody.
Oh, okay.
That's why in the book I put in that she uses her own books to kind of circulate around the island.
Mhm.
Cadence does and book. And that's kind of what my mom used to do. But she'd always make sure she got them back because
Oh, okay.
how many people they went through. Yeah. But yeah, there was a library at the time, but it was just hard to keep up with the demand.
Yeah. Do you still have a connection to the vineyard?
Oh yeah, my parents' house is still there, and my sister lives there now,
Oh,
and
very nice.
we're doing a ton of events over there uh, during my book tour. But yeah, I've been going there my whole life, and I every summer.
That's great. It sounds
Yeah.
like a wonderful place.
Have
God,
you been?
I don't think I've been there, no. I mean, I
Oh
know
my
as
God.
kids we went on vacation to Cape Cod, but I'm not sure where we were. So I don't know for
Gotta
sure.
go. You got to put
Yeah,
it on the bucket list.
I will. I absolutely will. Now,
Hopefully, it's
what was
going.
your research like for this book?
Oh my goodness. Well, I always do a lot of research. That's my
Mhm.
favorite part. And I usually go, like for my other books, I've been to Russia and France, and but this was easier in a way, but also, it's a very obscure subject. There isn't a lot written about it, but I did find one World War II on Martha's Vineyard. I did find a couple of people, Joe Yukna on at the Martha's Vineyard Military Museum in Falmouth. He helped me a lot, and he told me some stories about Nazis and Nazi U-boats, and interacting with fishermen and those kinds of things. And then a man named Tom Dresser on Martha's Vineyard. He wrote Martha's Vineyard during World War II, and that was really, really helpful. But I also had access, I was really lucky, to a primary source, which was, I can't say whose it was, but they were private diaries that
Oh,
talked all about the invasion of Martha's Vineyard by, the US military.
oh wow.
And that was really helpful. But I learned so much. I wished that I had talked to my mother more before she died about her life. But two things helped me there. One was her very good friend, Shirley Kennedy, that she grew up with, is still alive. And she won't tell us how old she is, but it's in the 90s.
Yeah.
But she helped me a lot. She told me all sorts of things, like really filled things in. And the other thing was, I went up in my attic one day and I found this envelope that my mother had sent me years ago. And she's passed away now. She's been gone for 20 years, but
Oh wow.
never opened it. And I opened it, and it was all of these essays that my aunt had written, and a note from my mother. And they were all about Martha's Vineyard
Wow.
when they were growing up as kids. And I swear to God, I felt like I was having like a visitation from her. So it was
Sure.
really helpful. Yeah.
Wow, that is so wonderful. There's so much in the book. Now, Breyer, the character in the book, she kept spotting these U-boats, but they
Yes. Oh,
didn't
I'm
believe her.
still thinking about that. Yeah, they called her Briar the liar.
Yeah. I didn't
She,
get that part. Why didn't they believe her?
well, she was young and, you
Yeah.
know, she did kind of cry wolf a little bit, maybe. She was a person that would talk a lot about Germany and she got a reputation for kind of, exaggerating. And so, and the thing is, there were U-boats. I mean, they were all over the place. So people knew they were around. They just didn't think that they were that close, hanging around.
Hmm.
And every time they went to look, they were gone, of
Right.
course. But
Right.
she was really good at spotting them. And she worked at a model shop and they actually made these at Van Riper Models, which was recognition models during the war, both planes and ships. And so she knew her stuff. She knew what a U-boat looked like.
Yeah. No, I was like, why can't they believe this nice young girl? She knows her stuff. But they also didn't want to get it to get out there because it was a tourist area. And
Exactly.
like Jaws.
Yeah.
They didn't want
Yes,
anyone to know about you know, they don't want you to know to ruin the tourist attraction.
exactly. And I found the reason that I knew that is I found in the Vineyard Gazette a campaign of ads from the Chamber of Commerce. And it was saying basically, nothing to see here. There's no Nazi subs out here. Don't worry. But there were, and they were just kind of gaslighting everybody. Also, you're on Lambert's Cove Beach, and all of a sudden it gets invaded by the US Army. I mean, that's got to get out there that uh, tourism continued through the war, but people were nervous, and a lot of the men were just gone.
Yeah.
That's why the book, one of the opening scenes is Cadence and Bess working at the snack shack at
Hmm.
this yacht club, and all the men are gone, but it's the ladies are still there, and
Right.
they're
Yeah, and
really.
then the manager ends up being called into the war and they have to close the whole place down.
Yes, that manager was actually based on an old boss that I had in
Oh,
Boston
okay.
when my first job waitressing. Yeah.
Which is
He,
crazy. They don't have to close it down. Hire a woman.
oh, I know. Well, sexism, it was
Yeah.
alive and well, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, women had to help out. I mean, if they were the only ones left on the island, what else could you do?
Oh my God, yes. Women really were involved on Martha's Vineyard.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, they were really worried that they had plane spotters because they were really worried that being out there, they were going to be the first ones if Nazi planes were flying over. So that never happened, but they were definitely on the lookout.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I also listened to the audio. I read and the audio. The audio was fabulous also.
You listen to the
I
audio?
listened to the audio. Yes, I
It's,
did.
I haven't heard the audio. I
Oh,
have to
okay. Well,
like,
Penguin Random House has a advanced reader copy that you can get audios.
oh my God,
Librarians can all do that. I'm sure authors can too. So
I
just get in
did
touch
not
with
know
Penguin Random
that.
House and you'll
I
get it.
will. I'm going to say
Yeah.
Evelyn has it and I
Yes.
don't. But
Yeah,
you
it's
enjoy
really
it.
good. It's a really great
Oh,
audio.
good. And my daughter, Mary, reads the Mari part.
Oh, really? It's your
Yeah.
daughter. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I wish, okay, I'll have to go back now and re-listen to it and know that it's your daughter. Is that what she
Which is
does? Does she do voiceovers? And
an actor. Yeah.
she is.
And I pitched her for it and they were like, sure. Because she does voices. She does a thing called mouth acting on TikTok, which, she does celebrity impressions. So that way she could do the Boston accents. She did say, since it is her family and she's very connected to it, the last chapter, she had to stop a couple of times because she was getting very emotional
Oh,
about it.
wow.
Yeah. So I think it turned out well, though, the clips that I've heard, I haven't heard
Yeah.
the whole thing.
No, it's fabulous. And now that I know it's your daughter, I'm going back and I'm going to re-listen to that
Oh,
last chapter. What is your
oh, good.
daughter's name so that we can all look her up?
It's Mary Elizabeth Kelly, and it's Mare Kel, Mare_Kell on TikTok. She does Jennifer Coolidge and Jennifer Aniston. I
Oh,
think hilarious.
wow. That's so great to know. Great.
Yeah, she's
I
also
also, go ahead.
baby any minute. So she was, pregnant with our grandson while
Oh,
she was doing the whole thing. So it was really very moving.
sure. Absolutely. I love how there's 37 books mentioned in the novel.
Oh my God. Yes. I didn't even realize that. And my editor was like, can you send me a list of all the books that are in the book? And it's just so funny because her column, Cadence's column, which did you like the columns that
Very
she
much
writes?
so. Yes. I enjoyed reading her column. I thought they were written so great. Yes.
Oh, good. And um, they include a lot of books.
Hmm.
So, and then there's the books that they're reading for book club. And it's just a book about books, which, was so much fun.
Yeah. You know what I liked also the fact that The Great Gatsby wasn't a popular book until they made it into that edition.
Oh, the Armed Services
Yeah,
Edition.
the
Yeah.
Armed Services edition. And
Crazy.
then The Great Gatsby took off. It was just
Yeah.
the 100th anniversary of The Great Gatsby. So,
Yeah. Fitzgerald's first two novels did very well. And
mhm.
then Gatsby came out and it was, I don't want to say a dud, but it didn't catch on.
Right,
And they printed so many Armed Services editions, and the boys over there, first of all, it made them incredible readers, a whole generation of people that had never read before. But it also, they came home and spread the word about The Great Gatsby, and that made it a big hit.
right.
Still
Exactly.
today, crazy.
Yeah. So are you touring for this book besides going to Martha's Vineyard?
I am.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
start a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm going all over the place, including Canada, East Coast, West Coast. I've never done a Canadian tour before, so my,
Okay. Very nice. That sounds great. Really great. So you haven't you've toured for your other books though, right?
oh yeah, yeah. But they've been books about mostly World War II in France and
Okay.
that kind of thing. So this is my first book about the United States, World War II in the United States. So it's really fun and about Martha's Vineyard,
Hmm.
which the outpouring of love from there and invitations to speak and has just been off the charts. It's really nice. I feel like I'm coming home.
Oh, that's so nice. You're gonna stay there for the summer? Do you?
Yeah, my sister, as I said before, is still there in my parents' house. I'm going to go back and forth. I live in
Mhm.
Litchfield, so this is home base, Connecticut, but I think I'm going to be on Martha's Vineyard for like 4 different weeks
Wow.
back in, yeah. I mean, it's pretty good duty to have to, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like such a bad thing to have to do, to go hang out at Martha's Vineyard. It sounds like a great idea. So what is your writing life like?
Oh my goodness. Uh, I like to write early in the morning, and the earlier the better. And I just feel like everything flows so much better then. But when I'm not doing books, tour stuff and marketing, all I do is write. Yeah, my next one's about Martha's Vineyard too, which is really
Oh,
fun. It
great.
it, it alternates between Laurel Canyon in the 1970s and Martha's Vineyard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about the rise of folk music.
Oh,
Uh,
wow, I love that.
well, you got to look for it.
What,
2 years from now.
2 years?
I know. So the paperback has to come out first of
Okay.
this next year, and then the following year will be the music book. Right
Okay.
now, the working title is More Than Famous, but we'll see what
Okay. Wow. Good for you.
let me keep that. But yeah, I love what I do. I feel like I am just the luckiest person in the whole world to be able to do this.
Has there ever been any movie rights for any of the books?
Lilac Girl is my first book. Elizabeth Moss of Handmaid's Tale fame optioned that. And
Oh,
then yeah, that didn't work out,
okay.
unfortunately. Historical fiction, it's tough to get it through the hoop
Hmm.
with all the costumes and everything. It's very expensive.
Right,
But
right.
we'll see. I mean,
This one, I think this one would be great as a book, as a movie. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think so too. Well, the nice thing about this one is my first one that's contemporary and back in the
Hmm.
old. I was watching Fried Green Tomatoes, and I thought, why don't I just do that? Do you remember that movie with Kathy Bates
Yeah,
that made?
I so long ago. Yeah.
But I
Fanny
thought,
Flagg.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, she's so good. And I thought, why not do that with my book? Use like a frame, like a current day, like in Fried Green Tomatoes, they're in a nursing home,
Hmm.
and Kathy Bates shows up and this older lady tells the story. So I thought, why don't I do something like that? And I'm so happy I did. I really love the way that works because then you can, tool around contemporary Martha's Vineyard too. Like
Right.
Mari Starwood in the book, when you go to current day, she's doing stuff on the island. She goes to a bonfire and has a lot of fun on Martha's Vineyard. So I think you get both experiences, which is nice.
Do you have any affiliation with California now that you're saying your new book is also placed in California? Whereas this one also, she's coming from California and she thought her mother never left California. So,
Right. Yeah. Well, my daughter, Mary, the one that read the audiobook, lives in California.
oh,
So
okay.
I spend a lot of time out there. We just did a tour of Laurel Canyon, the two of us, and it was so much fun. That area is so cool. I love Los Angeles. So and now that we have a grandchild out there, we might just get a little apartment or something out there. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm kind of, bi-coastal, I guess.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So the book that you're first writing it now, or is it at the editor yet, or?
I'm writing it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a draft, but my best editors are my daughters and my husband. So they read the chapters as I write them.
Oh,
And
wow.
oh, it's so helpful. Yeah. And they did that with this book too. For the first time ever with this book, also, I listened to it on Speechify, which was super helpful
Oh, that's interesting.
because they say that reading it out loud, I used to always read my dialogue out loud or
Mhm.
try to. Um, but it really, really helps to hear it out loud, I think, for writers.
Now, with
And
this dual timeline, did you write it separately? How did you?
I wrote the first, I my first draft was just the two sisters telling the
Okay.
story. And then I watched Fragrant Tomatoes and had my epiphany. And then I added the kind of frame story of Mari coming and being connected. And I feel like I feel like that really adds another dimension to the whole story. Because it makes I mean, found family to me is so interesting. And it makes you realize that, you should dig into your past because you never know. You could
Mhm.
be related to some people with a gorgeous farm on Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, you never know. We should all be that lucky.
I know.
Especially when she had like no money at all. She couldn't even afford to rent a bike.
You are exactly right. It's so fun. I've just started talking to people about the book. So it's so fun to hear from you, like all the things that you remember from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bike boy, was willing to give her a break on the price, but even that,
Yeah, but he made it sound like it was going to be a treacherous ride on a bicycle.
it is,
Like,
yeah, it is. People all the time come to Martha's Vineyard thinking that they can just ride around on a bike.
mhm.
No, it depending on where you're going, it really is treacherous.
Okay.
It's not like Nantucket that's super flat. There's a lot of
Oh,
hill.
really? Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. So beware. There's a lot of, actually, I shouldn't say a lot. Two book clubs have reached out to me already, and they're going out there to Martha's Vineyard as like a girls' trip and bringing and reading the book when they're out there.
Oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. I would love to join that.
And that's so cool. And
Yeah.
I'm making them a map of where to go in current day,
Hmm.
things book that they can go visit, and they're very excited. So I hope that more people do that.
It sounds like a great idea. I'd love to do a field trip like that. That sounds like so much fun.
Because it's if you've never been to the island, it's a
Yeah.
kind of a way to get to know it.
Wow. That's
I have a map, an old time map on my Instagram. I posted every day a piece of the map. So it's if you look on my Instagram grid, you'll see the whole map on there. And it's the 1942 map. It's really cute. I think you would like it.
I will definitely take a look. It sounds like a great thing to do. Absolutely. Now, how do you get to Martha's Vineyard? Can you just drive or?
You take the ferry from Woods Hole,
Okay.
and you don't have to bring your car over. I usually do just because I need to get around. And it's a
Mhm.
bigger island than people realize. It's 7 towns. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's not like Nantucket. There's like I don't know, just a handful of towns.
Hmm.
But yeah, but you can park your car and come over just on foot if you want to do that too. They have buses down to the ferry.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Sounds like a great place. I'll definitely put it on my list. We're
You
big
have
at
to go.
going out to Montauk, so that's easy.
Yeah. Well,
That-
you know that probably,
right.
right?
That's just
Yeah.
an easy car ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Montauk's beautiful.
Yeah. We love it out there. But like I said, I love the cover being on. I love any cover with a beach or a lake or anything like that. And this one's great with the girls sitting and reading. I think this is going to be a big hit for you, Martha.
Oh, I'm knocking on wood.
Absolutely. It's
Somebody asked me if it was offensive to me that they were calling it a beach read, and I said, absolutely not. I think if I see it on someone's uh, towel at the beach, I might lose my mind because I've never had a beach read before.
No, I think it's going to be a big summer hit. I really
Oh,
do.
okay. All right, I'm going to quote you.
Okay. I do. I really do. I think it's going to be a big hit. I'm definitely going to be recommending it to everybody. So
That
if
is so
if
nice.
you,
That is the best word of mouth.
yes, it will be recommended by me a lot. And I'm pretty sure we have what's called the stars section, and those are the books that only go out for 7 days. I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a star collection.
Oh my
On
God.
top of our regular print that we have on the shelf, we then have separate ones that are stars, and this one's going to be one of them
Wow.
too. Yeah.
I, I'm getting more chills now. Star, yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big hit.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for saying that. I
Nice.
really appreciate it. My husband will be very happy.
That's funny. Well, it was so nice speaking with you.
It was so nice speaking with you too, and hopefully I'll see you in Martha's Vineyard soon.
Oh, I would love that. If I could get there, I will try.
Okay, it's a deal. Thanks,
Okay.
Evelyn.
So thanks, Martha. I'm going to close this chapter of Turn the Page.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.